Hi, you guys. So, first off, I want to say thank you so much for signing up for this class. I was going to just upload the replay and let that be the course/class, but it was a little fuzzy. And I was doing some Q&A, and I was like, you know what? Let me just re-record it specifically for you guys who are purchasing this class/course to just view at home. So I really hope that you learn something from this and that I'm able to give you helpful insights. Lastly, I tend to drift off sometimes, but it's all going to make sense, I promise. Okay. So let's jump right into it. What is Etsy? Etsy is an online marketplace that connects people who are looking for unique goods with independent sellers around the world. The beauty of the internet is that you can sell anything from anywhere to anyone. When you shop on Etsy, you can choose from millions of products, crafts, and supplies that are curated by independent sellers. So, independent sellers are individuals who create shops on Etsy. So, yes, it is an e commerce platform, but think of Etsy more like an online mall instead of a standalone boutique. A lot of people hear about Etsy and say to themselves, why in the world would I sign up for this? Why would I sell on here or shop on here? Or they think that handmade goods can only be sold or bought on Etsy. Now, yes, once upon a time that was true. You were only allowed to sell things that you can physically um, make by hand, but the rules of Etsy have since then been changed. Now, Etsy breaks things down into two categories: makers and designers. Put simply, makers are business owners or sellers who physically make items and then list them for sale in their Etsy shop. Makers might create their items using a pattern or a design that they did not originally come up with, but the finishing product was made by them by hand or by them using their own tools or their computers, such as a digital download, like a template or an ebook. Designers are sellers or business owners who come up with an original idea, design, pattern, sketch, template, examples of those. And designers do not necessarily create their own products physically, but they design them and then they have them produced. So if you're a designer and not physically involved with the production of your products, then you'll simply say that you design your product and you have production assistants. So things that will fall under those categories are like t-shirts that you get drop shipped or mugs that you get drop shipped. Now, if you're not designing things and you also don't have a hand in physically making things, then you do have a third option to sell supplies, tools, or antiques. I guess it's like a third, fourth, and a fifth option. But you can sell supplies, you can sell tools, and you can sell antiques. So there's a section on their terms of use at the bottom on Etsy.com. And they'll let you know like what falls under antiques, what falls under supplies, and what falls under tools. Supplies and tools are things that other crafters or business owners may need to help them be successful. So as long as you're being transparent about whether or not you make things or you design things, I think it's a really great place to sell. If your items don't fall under any of these categories, then Etsy's not for you. Sorry. So now you know what Etsy is and you know what you can and can't sell. So let's talk about some of the advantages of selling on Etsy. Number one, the first advantage is that starting an Etsy shop is quick, it's easy, and it's so affordable. You don't have to have crazy startup costs to get started, which you'll see once we get into the step-by-step of opening up your first shop. So when you start the Etsy shop, you don't have to worry about your domain name or hiring a web designer. Everything is basically done for you. And what's not done for you, you can just do in Canva. So things that are not done for you is the banner and the logo. But like I said, you can easily create your banner and your logo at canva.com, and that's free as well. The second advantage to Etsy is that you have access to a large audience, millions of people actually. It's a search engine just like Google or YouTube. So people actually go to Etsy intending to purchase specific things. Think of Amazon. You don't go to Amazon to just browse and say, what will I buy today? If you do, probably like me, you need Amazon Anonymous, AA, right? So think of Amazon. You don't go on there just to browse. You go on there to make a specific purchase. You go on there looking for something very specific, like a yellow light bulb or a blue shoe. Think of Etsy that way. Most people who go on Etsy, they're going on there for a very specific purpose. And the reason why this advantage is so important is that you don't have to have a large following or spend thousands of dollars on ads to access an audience, as long as you have a good product and you use good SEO. SEO is search engine optimization, but we will get into that later. Talk with my hands a lot. The third advantage of Etsy is that you can integrate drop shipping. This is amazing because you were not allowed to do this back in the day when I first started on Etsy, right? So drop shipping is basically a method to build a profitable business with no inventory. That means you don't have to have your product in-house, and another company can produce your product for you and ship it out as long as you're designing it. And Etsy makes it extremely easy to integrate dropshipping programs. All you have to do is select the platform that you use, and as long as it's compatible with Etsy, they'll connect your products, and when someone places an order, it'll ship directly to them. Number 4, the fourth advantage is that Etsy is already established. Like, it's already well known for being a marketplace and selling unique items. Like, almost everybody knows about Etsy. So your future potential customers are likely on Etsy right now looking for items that you probably sell, but they're not buying from you because you don't have a store. And they already trust that they'll get goods and services that are beneficial because Etsy has an established reputation. A benefit to this is that people trust the buying process. If customers don't trust your business, they might not feel comfortable buying from you and handing you over their credit card and saying, here you go, I'm going to buy from you. They don't know you. But see, because your store is on Etsy, you have a higher chance of getting sales, even if it's new, because they don't have to trust you because they trust the Etsy brand. Now, I'll be honest, and I won't give you advantages without giving you some disadvantages as well. So some disadvantages are that your products are being shown beside your competition. But again, think of Etsy like you're walking into a mall. When you're going into a mall, you know that 8 different stores sell similar things, but you also know that you probably only like 2 of those stores, so you're not interested in what the other 6 have. The key to being successful at either beating your competition or having a percentage of your competition sales is doing things that get your listing and your store to stand out, which we'll talk about later, or getting inspired by your competition and using the same best practices and methods that they use to make your store a success. I study stores. I study stores all the time that sell similar items to me. And I stay on top of their changes and their sales as well, because Etsy shows you how many sales each shop makes. So I look at all that stuff. I always go and see, well, what y'all got? Well, what y'all don't got? Well, what y'all saying? What y'all not saying? You know what I mean? So stay on top of that. Another disadvantage is that you need to be very, very, very careful that none of your items are copying another company and that you're not guilty of copyright infringement. Etsy takes copyright infringement very seriously and can potentially sue you. You could be sued for breaking the law. So be careful with that, depending on what it is that you make and sell. Lastly, and if I can be honest, this particular disadvantage, I don't necessarily agree with, but I hear it a lot, so I do want to bring it to you guys' attention. With Etsy, you can easily spend about $500 to $1,000 per year in Etsy fees. Some people think that this is too high, but something to keep in mind is that you're not paying it out of pocket in a big chunk per year. It's coming out of every transaction. There's a little percentage, a little fee, right? So think about it this way. If a seller, right, a store owner, a seller, spends $500 to $1,000 a year in Etsy fees, that means that they're making $1,000 to $2,000 per month in profit. You see what I'm saying? So let's say $2,000 a month for 1 year is $24,000. So you're making $24,000 in profit and possibly spending $1,000 on fees. I say take it. Also, like I said, you don't pay your fees monthly. They come out of each transaction. So for each transaction, you get charged a transaction fee, an auto renewal fee, a shipping transaction fee, and I think it's Transaction fee, a shipping transaction fee, an auto renewal fee, and another fee like if it was purchased, because of an ad. But I don't feel like this con outweighs all of the pros. But like I said, there are people who do complain about this. So I just wanted to put it out there. Now let's talk about some best practices. So these are some things that you don't necessarily have to do. I just personally recommend that you do it before starting your Etsy store. I suggest having all of your business affairs in order. Whether or not you're starting your shop to sell full-time, part-time, or just as a hobby, being set up for success, honestly, it just never hurt anyone, Just be prepared for the opportunity so that when it comes, in case it comes, you're ready. That's all. So I suggest having a domain name purchase. You don't have to use it right away, but just keep it just in case you decide to expand your business in the future and have your own standalone store. The worst thing to do is to start an Etsy store under the name Ayana, and then 3 years later, your Etsy store is blowing up and you're like, you know what, I want to get a standalone store too. And then you go purchase Ayana.com and it's unavailable. So get your domain name. You could purchase this from GoDaddy.com. That's what I use. I think the first one is like $11.99 a year. And then to renew it after that every year is $18.99 a year. So it's worth it. I also suggest that you secure an email address with your business name. For example, if your business is Susie Q Sells Things, then create an email address that is SusieQSellsThings@gmail.com. Then create your social media accounts that all match your business name. You want to make sure that your brand is cohesive and flows on every social media corner, so to say. I also suggest publishing on social media every day, at least once a day, for about 30 to 60 days before you open up your store. And make sure you use hashtags that involve Etsy. Now, if you already have a store open and you're already promoting on social media, make sure that you're tagging Etsy in your post and you're also putting their hashtags in your caption. Another best practice is to create a Flowdesk account or a MailChimp account. So as you start taking orders, you can start collecting emails, which we will also discuss later. Okay, so now let's get into opening up your Etsy store. So okay, I'm going to verbally break it down to you step by step how to do it. But just so you know, it's really simple. And Etsy also has a tab where you can get a smaller version of a breakdown to just zoom through it. So if you're watching this class and you already have an Etsy store, don't feel like this part is irrelevant. Don't skip through, because we're going to talk about your policies, your about section, what your store should look like, your shop announcements, your banners, and a few best practices for the opening process. So the first thing you want to do is create an Etsy account. You can't have a store without creating an Etsy account. You'll use that account to then go on and select that you wish to be an Etsy store owner. After you create the account, you'll refresh it, and then it should have a thing that says sell on Etsy. And then you'll select your shop language, currency, and the country that you're in. Then you'll save it, continue, and after that, you'll be able to choose your shop name. Hopefully it's available. You'll save and continue. And then, so I suggest you do all of this on a desktop or a laptop. You can do stuff in the Etsy app. However, I recommend doing completely setting up your shop on a desktop web browser. It's easy and you'll be able to make sure you don't miss filling out anything. Sometimes with the mobile version, it doesn't have all the spaces and all of like the boxes to fill stuff in. But when you're doing it on a desktop or on a laptop, you're able to see so much more and make sure that you're not leaving anything out. Okay. Once you complete all the basics of your store, then you can go onto the Etsy app and finish uploading your listings or finish designing your store. So once you're done with those basics, you'll be asked to do some key shop elements. Key shop elements are your banner, your shop logo, your shop announcement, your about section, your shop members, and your policies. So your banner and your logo should be clear photos that represent your brand. Clear and cohesive. Remember, cohesive. You want it to flow. You want your banner to be inviting, but also tell people what your brand is about and what they can expect. And your shop announcement. So, okay, well, Etsy recommends that your shop announcement should be like, oh, welcome to my Etsy shop. And I think that's great. However, I recommend that your shop announcement either let shoppers know like new things that are going on in your store, or just let them know like some facts that they're probably not going to pay attention to in your frequently asked questions section. Um, for example, one of my stores, I say, hello, everything is 10% off. Orders ship on Sunday and Wednesday. It's short and sweet. On another store, I say, hello, orders ship Sunday and Wednesday, no refunds, no exchanges, period. So that way they can't say they missed it or they didn't see it before they checked out. It's the first thing you see when you go in a store. It's impossible to miss it. It's short, it's sweet, and it lets buyers know upfront what to expect. So I suggest that you use your shop announcement to do that. But like I said, Etsy suggests that you use it to say, hello, hi, and introduce yourself. I just don't. I feel like you can do that in the About section. So the About section is where you'll be able to upload stories, behind the scenes, what goes into making your products, how your business came to be, videos, photos, and anything else that you can think of that will help people understand what your business is about. You can put your mission statement and or your vision for your company up there too. Just whatever you do, don't leave it blank. Okay, don't leave it blank. The next important part, the next important part is the shop member section. Let me tell you, a lot of people leave this blank. I suggest you introduce yourself and also any other members that work for your business. If you don't have other members, fine. Tell them about your dog. Whatever you want to do, just don't leave it blank. And it doesn't even have to be about you. You can say, hi, I'm the owner, or you could say, this brand represents themselves, XYZ. Just don't leave it blank. Under your shop policies, you want to fill out any specific rules or guidelines that are important for shoppers to know, as well as what your shipping policies are, like your return policies, exchange policies, whether you do or don't, do returns or exchanges, whatever it is, or cancellations. That's an important one too. Just let it be known. The next thing you're going to do is add listings to your shop. I suggest opening your shop with at least 25 items to start. There are Etsy shops who only sell 10 to 15 items and they do amazing. But normally those shops sell very specific things that people are looking for. Usually they're a niche down market and people are going on Etsy specifically to buy those, particular things. But if you're going on Etsy, you're going to have competition. Honestly. So I suggest having multiple listings so that when buyers come to your shop, they have a variety of things to look through. You know what I mean? When you go in a store and there's like 4 things, you're like, oh, I don't like any of those 4 things. I'm going to leave. But if there's 25, 30, 40, 50 things, there's no way you don't like at least one thing, So another way to make sure you have multiple listings is instead of offering multiple varieties under one listing, like let's say you have a pair of shoes and you sell this shoe in red, black, and blue. Instead of having one listing with a tab that drops down saying red, black, blue, break those into 3 listings. And now you have a listing for your red shoe, a listing for your blue shoe, and a listing for your black shoe. After you add all your items, you'll be asked to enter your credit card or debit card information, as well as your routing and account number. And then you'll be able to choose how often you want to be paid. So you have the option of being paid weekly, bi-weekly, daily, or monthly. The reason I need your credit card or your debit card is because each listing, you have to pay 20 cents to list it. That's not a whole lot of money, so don't freak out. It's just 20 cents every time you list a new product. And then they'll use your credit or debit card to deduct any fees that you owe at the end of the month. Okay, let's talk about the most important part of this, right? And now I'm basing this off of my own personal experience. The most important part of your Etsy shop are how you publish your listings. It's not even the listing itself, it's how you publish it. So I'll give you a quick example, a true example. So, and this is based off of a store that I opened in July of 2020. So in April 2021, my store made $1,354.05. And I told you, I study the competition. I look at other people and I'm like, man, I sell similar things, but it looks like they're getting, so many more sales per month. What are they doing that I'm not doing? So I'm looking, I'm comparing, I'm contrasting, I'm seeing, what can help me, what's hurting me. And then when I went and made these specific changes to my listings, I saw a huge increase in revenue, over $2,000. So 30 days later, my May 2021 report showed that my store made $3,366.59 for the month. So April, $1,354.05. May, $3,366.59. So how your product is listed is honestly just over the top important. Missing any detail can mean that you're missing money. So when you list a product, you have so many options to upload, like to input information. And honestly, you want to eat up every single piece of the pie that they give you because it's free. All those options, all those tools are free to use, so use them. For each listing, they allow up to 10 photos. So here, if you can't upload 10 photos, don't trip. If you can't upload 8 photos, don't trip. At least do 2 to 3, but I recommend 5 at least. But some of the top selling shops, they have all 10 photos filled out or filled in or uploaded. All that works. So you can also have the option to upload a video. Now, I'll be honest, I want to be transparent. The listings that I have videos on, they sell way better than the listings that I don't. But this is a really new feature. And so I haven't honestly been able to get a video recording of all of my items yet across my stores. But now that it's available, I recommend that you do it. And honestly, when you utilize everything, like every tool that Etsy gives you to use, they push you up further in the algorithm. So I've noticed some of my products where I'm using the video feature, I'm getting so many sales on them. And I'm like, but I used to get sales on this other item, but now this is selling, and it's all because I'm utilizing Etsy's new feature. So like I said, try to utilize whatever feature it is that they give you. The video can be between 5 and 15 seconds long, and it doesn't have sound. So I actually really like that it doesn't have sound because you're not competing with music or, words behind a video. You're just showing the product, the good product, and that's what people are basing the video on, how good just the product is. The next thing you'll get into is the listing details. The listing title. So this is also very important, and I will tell you where I used to go wrong. Hopefully you're not laughing at me. So where I used to go wrong is that, let's take this teal A, for example, right? And I'm selling it. Instead of me saying teal A for top of desk, or, decorative teal A for desktop, or decorative teal A for office, I would be like Aziza. Name it. I just name the A and then type that in, which, that's great if you have a standalone store. But remember, Etsy is a search engine ran marketplace, which means that people are typing in exactly what they are looking for, right? So if I'm just saying Aziza and putting it out there, nobody's going to go on Etsy and type in Aziza. People are going to go on Etsy and type in a teal letter A for desk or for office, right? So the key to selling successful on Etsy is not trying to be unique where it comes to being basic and doing what's tried and true. Be unique in the product that you offer and be unique in your customer service. But when it comes to your tags, your titles, your description, be as basic and specific as possible, because you want to type things like shoppers and buyers are actually thinking and typing. So think about when you're going to shop for something, right? If you were going to shop for, let's just say, a black pair of leather thigh boots, right? You're not going to go type in the Esmeralda boot, right? You're going to type in the search bar, black leather thigh boots. So when naming your product or giving your product a title, like I said, just be specific and type in exactly what people would be looking for. The next thing is going to be who made the product, what the product is, and when it was made. So under who made the product, only select handmade if you physically made it. If you did not physically make it, you could select that a member of your shop did or another company or person. Remember, if another company or person had any help in making your product, you need to be honest about it. Under what your product is, you're going to select whether or not it's a finished product or a supply or a tool used to make things. Under when did you make it, you'll select whether it was 2019, whether it's 2021, or whether it's made to order. And then if you're selling vintage pieces, you'll just select what year it was made in. So after that, you're going to select the category. Okay, listen, be specific about the category, because this is where Etsy will place your items when people are searching for things. So let's just stick to the leather boots, for example, right? You don't want to type in shoes, and that's the category. Because when people go on Etsy, if you know how many shoes are there, you want to be specific and say black boots for women. Now, the categories may not be called that, like that's not what Etsy categories might be. But what's going to happen is Etsy is going to show you what the closest category title is to what it is that you typed in. So if you just say shoes, Etsy's going to say, okay, shoes. But if you type in black boots for women, then Etsy will say, okay, we have a whole entire category that's black boots. It might not be for women, but now that narrows down the search and it puts you up higher in the ranking. Hopefully that makes sense. So this part is optional, but you can add the height, the width, and the length of your product. You can also select the primary color and a secondary color, and whether or not your product was recycled. But if any of those fit your product or your listing, fill it in. The next thing it's going to ask you is if you want to do an automatic renewal or a manual renewal when your product sells out. Basically, all that means is if your product sells out, do you want them to go ahead and automatically relist it again so it's for sale? Or if you only have like one of a kind, do you not want it to be relisted? And you'll decide when you want to go and publish the product again. After that, it'll ask you if your product is physical, which means that it ships to a buyer and it's tangible, they can touch it, or if it's digital and your buyers will get it like in an email or in a download. The next thing is extremely important to you guys. Right after the title, it's your product description. Try to add at least 5 sentences to your product description. I believe on Etsy it says 500 words. Sometimes it's really hard to write 500 words for a product description, but at least try to do 5 sentences and make sure that your title of the product is in the first sentence of the product description, okay? So after the description, then you'll choose whether or not you had a production partner. So remember, if you didn't actually make it by hand and it's not a digital download, then you probably had a production partner. And don't worry, people don't need to be in your business. You don't have to say, I use Printify. What you'll do is you'll let Etsy know, hey, I use Printify for my products. And then you'll let the people know who are purchasing, I use a local print shop. And that's what they'll see. So Etsy will know, okay, you use Printify, but the people will know, oh, it's a print shop, but she designed it. Simple. It just lets your buyers know, how their products are being made, because Etsy is all about, being unique and coming from, something special. So the next option you have is to create sections for your shop. So shop sections are different than Etsy categories, because remember, the categories is where Etsy is placing your listings or your products in their search system and their algorithm, right? Your shop sections is where you're putting things into sections on your own shop or website or store. So like if you sell t-shirts, boots, jeans, belts, whatever, don't just have a shop all tab. Break it down so that people can know that you sell multiple items. And if they don't want to have to browse through jeans to get to t-shirts, they can just select t-shirts. After that, you get to add tags. So tags on Etsy are like hashtags on Instagram. This is where you'll give very brief, very short snippets of what people might type in to find your product. So let's stick with the black boots. Good tags for a black boot might be black boot, tall black boot, women's thigh boot, black thigh boot, women's boots for thighs, like things like that, right? And you're allowed up to 13 tags. I suggest if you can, use every single one. After that, you can add the materials that were used. This part is also optional, but I think it's important as well, because let's say the boots are leather, so type in that the material is leather. Let's say they are, suede, type in suede, and that way when people are looking for suede shoes, you're giving your listing or your product so many different ways to be found by using very specific keywords, okay? You're also able to add inventory, so you can just put how many of what you have and, the price that you sell it for, and if you want, you can add a SKU number. The next two options are variations and personalization. So if you sell shoes, we're sticking with shoes, and you want to add sizes, or clothing, you want to add sizes, that's where you'll add the variations. And then if it doesn't have multiple variations, you can leave it blank. Then you'll add whether or not your item can be personalized. And just a tip, people love personalization. So if you can do that, do it. The last part is just all about shipping. You'll be asked where you ship your items from, the item's weight, height, length, width, what you charge for shipping, what your processing times look like, how many days it's going to take for people to actually get stuff once you ship it. And then you'll be asked whether or not you want to advertise on Etsy, which we will get into later. Okay, so now that we went step by step into how to open an Etsy store, let's discuss your shop manager dashboard for a second, okay? So when you're in your shop manager, there's a list to the left of all these different options to click on and choose from, and every single one is really great. So it goes in order. It's your dashboard, listing, messages, orders, shipping, statistics, finances, marketing, integrations, community help, and settings. So your dashboard is where you'll be able to see your visitors for the day, the month, the year, the amount of orders for the day, revenue received, the total views your listing received, and all that good stuff. So the difference between views and visits is that visits are actually those who went to your shop, like they visited your Etsy store. Views is how many times your items were viewed in the Etsy mall overall over a certain period of time. Also in the dashboard, it'll show you any updates or any recommended things that Etsy suggests that you do. And you'll also be able to see like what activity your shop has had for the day, like if people favorited your item or if they favorited your store. A favorite is like a like. So listings is where you'll be able to see all of your listings. And I like to select to keep my statistics on for each listing. So that way you can see how many times each listing is being viewed, favorited, how many are left in stock, and how many people have what in their carts. The orders and shipping tab will let you know how many orders you have and when you need to ship them by. You can also get all of your shipping labels right in Etsy under the dashboard, and it's up to 30% off, so you don't have to wait in line at the post office and pay full price. The next one is your statistics. So your statistics in your dashboard are actually similar. The statistics shows you a graph, so that's a difference. And also statistics shows you your conversion rate. So your conversion rate is the percentage of people who actually convert into being a customer when they sell your product or store. Under statistics, you'll also be able to see where your traffic came from, whether it was direct traffic or traffic from social media, or whether it was from Etsy marketing or Etsy search or Etsy ads. You'll also be able to see how many times shoppers viewed each listing and the revenue for each. This will come in handy later on when we talk about advertising and marketing. Under finances, you'll be able to see your payment account, get monthly statements, check your payment settings. You can sign up for QuickBooks and TurboTax. And if you're worried about any tax information, you can read all the legal tax information that they provide. Under the marketing tab, you'll be able to see your analytics, set up ads, coupons, sales, and you can also publish directly to social media, as well as design your own website if you want to. The last two are integrations and community help. Basically, integrations is just what you'll use to integrate your Etsy store with another platform. So let's say you also sell in person with Square and you want to keep, track of your inventory. So you'll connect your Etsy account to your Square account. So that way, when you make a purchase in person, it'll deduct the quantity away from your Etsy store as well. Community help is just a way to get your questions answered by other people who also sell on Etsy. Whew. Okay, so now we're done talking about the setup and we're done talking about the dashboard. Let's get into marketing, ads, coupons, and those type of things, okay? So the first thing I recommend is signing up for Marmalade. Marmalade is a tool that allows you to type in and search specific keywords that buyers are using to shop for your specific products. Once I started using Marmalade, I was able to compare keywords and search words that customers were using. And I saw that a lot of words that I thought people were using to find my products were not it. It was like, no, that ain't it. It's not. So this will help when you're marketing, because you'll know exactly what words to use, what specific keywords to use to get people to actually find your products, okay, and get your store found. Now let's talk about Etsy ads and Etsy marketing. This is all in-house. So Etsy has two types of advertisement. The first one we're going to discuss is in-house advertisement, which advertises your product to people on Etsy, which means that when buyers are on Etsy.com or in the Etsy app, they can possibly see your listing first or second or third or fourth because it was advertised. The other type of advertising is that is offsite ads. So offsite ads are different. Offsite ads are advertised outside of Etsy, which means they'll show your products on places like Facebook, Google, Instagram, YouTube, Yahoo, things like that. But you won't be eligible to get offsite ads until you've sold at least $10,000 worth of product. So to talk real quick about the pricing, Etsy in-house ads, you can pay $1 to $25 per day in ads. Etsy offsite ads, you don't pay anything until somebody clicks on your ad. So we'll touch into that again a little bit later, but I hope that makes sense. So when you're starting out, I recommend starting out with the Etsy in-house ads at $1 per day for the first 60 days. After you do it at $1 per day for 30 days, you'll be able to see a pattern on what people are purchasing and what they're favoriting and what they like more. And then you'll be able to see what listings are kind of being neglected. But then after 60 days, you'll have even more accurate statistics of how your ads are working. And then you'll be able to go in and make adjustments and say, okay, nobody's even looking at this product. Nobody's looking at that product. What can I do differently? You know? So when you first start out, I suggest that you advertise every single listing, because you can go in later, like at the end of the 60 days and say, okay, I have 30 listings, but 15 are doing really well. So you can go in later and not advertise the 15 that are not doing well and just push advertisement on the 15 that are doing great. After setting up your Etsy ad campaign for, like I said, I suggest $1 a day. You could do it for more. Like I do $10 a day in June and July, because June and July are slow months for me. So I up my advertisement. But the rest of the year, I only do $1 or $2 per day, and it works just fine. So after setting up your Etsy ad campaign, I then recommend setting up your targeted email campaigns. So targeted email campaigns are awesome because they are free and you don't have to do anything. So targeted email campaigns or email ads, right? They're targeted to specific customers or potential customers. So you have 3 options with this for targeted campaigns. And I like, seriously, just use all 3 because they're free, okay? So your first option is the abandoned cart campaign, which means that for those of you who put things in your cart but don't buy, Etsy will send them, for those potential customers who put things in their cart but don't buy, Etsy will send them a coupon of your choice on your behalf to give them an incentive to purchase. You see, they give it to them for you. You do nothing. They just say, hey, you, come back over here. Check out, you know? The next one is a target campaign. So a target campaign is basically a favorited campaign. It's sending an email to people who liked or favorited your item or your store, but they didn't necessarily shop from it. They didn't put anything in their cart, but they knew that they liked the item. So what this email will say is, hey, you know, you favorited something. You want to go ahead and buy it? And you, if you want to, you can say get 10% off, or, you know, you get 15% off, but you can give them an incentive to come back and actually browse around your store a little bit more. And, you know, I like to use that one because sometimes you'll see that people favorite stuff just because they think it's cute and they like it, but they wouldn't necessarily buy it. But then when you get them to come back and you have even more in your store, they're like, oh, I didn't know that this person had this and that. Okay, I'll purchase something. And sometimes they don't even purchase what they favorited, but that email got them to come back and make a purchase. The third target campaign is a post-purchase thank you campaign. I always to say that slow, post-purchase thank you campaign. So a post-purchase thank you campaign, it gives buyers a reason to come back, honestly. So it just lets them know like, hey, I appreciate you for shopping with me. Come back and you can get this much off the next time. Or come back and spend this amount of money and get this much off. Or just come back, you know? So these are free ways to market, and Etsy is doing it for you. All you do is initially set up the campaign, set up the percentage you want to give these people, and just approve it. After that, Etsy does all of the work. So I'll give you guys an example of how the target campaigns can be profitable. So in August, Etsy sent out 117 recently favorited target campaigns on my behalf. So remember, there's 3. So I'm just talking about the recently favorited. So of those 117 targeted campaigns to people who favorited an item in my store or my store, 19 people made a purchase. So the average order or average order value of those 19 people were $19.15. So the revenue from that free email that I didn't have to send out was $536, right? And 25 cents. So just like that, for Etsy sending emails on my behalf and getting people to just come back and just browse my store, that was an extra $500 in passive income. So now, like I said, that revenue came from targeted campaigns that I did not have to physically send out or pay for. And that is just one of the 3 campaign actions that you can set up with Etsy. So after setting up your target campaign, you have the option to set up your own special sales and coupons. I like to set up coupons for specific customers when they come back as well. Like, let's say Stacy or Jessica shop with me often. I like to say, hey, I see you're a repeat customer. Here's a coupon just for you that you can use every single time you check out. That means every time Stacy comes, she gets 12% off just for the love, just because she shops with me. I also like to do and don't laugh, I like to do weekly sales and coupons for my store. This marketing tactic, in my opinion, is great. I know a lot of people say stuff shouldn't always be on sale, but when do most of y'all shop at Bath and Body Works? When do most of y'all get stuff from Forever 21 or Steve Madden or whatever? It's when the stuff goes on sale. Like, let's be real, So what I like to do is I up the prices by 10%, right? And then I offer a discount of 15%. And I do it for a certain amount of days. So I send out an email, let them know, hey, look, Monday through Friday, it's going to be 15% off of everything, just Monday through Friday. And I win because I'm getting people to buy from me. I'm giving people a sense of urgency. You only have this amount of days to do it. And it's great because we all love a good sale. And then you win because we all love a good sale and you're getting items discounted and I'm making a profit. So one of the sales I offered this month for September was for the first week of September. It was actually August 30th to September 7th. I ran a 15% off the whole store sale just for those 8 days, right? So from that sale, I got 42 orders and profited over $1,000. Now, to some people, that's not a lot of money. To some people, that is a lot of money. But just keep in mind, given a sale, that was free. These things are free to do. It's free to set this stuff up for your store and to, get it out there so that people can shop from you. So don't be afraid to put your stuff on sale. But if you put it on sale, up the price a little bit first. Okay. So some other great hacks for getting sales, and I guess this does fall under marketing and tips. Yeah. So it's scarcity and urgency. So like I said, when I let those people know, hey, you only have 6 days or 7 days or 8 days to utilize this, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, let me go ahead and jump on this because I don't want the product to sell out, right? So speaking of your product selling out, don't have that you have 100 items available. Don't do that. Just don't do that, because then there's absolutely no reason for a customer to have a sense of urgency to check out. Even if it is a sale, they're going to be like, it's on sale, but it's 1,000 of them, so I'll get it another time. No, you don't want that. What I like to do is only have 3 to 5 of each item available at a time. So that way, when they go click it, it's like, this item is running low, there's only 3 available. This item is running low, there's only 5 available, but it's in 7 people's cart. So they're like, whoa, 5, 7. Let me just go ahead and buy 2 right quick so I don't miss out. So that's just some honorable mention tips. So also, like while you're in the marketing tab, you have the option to share your listings and your milestones and your promotions and your reviews directly to your social media account. So Etsy doesn't say this, but in my personal opinion, I've noticed that when I share posts directly from Etsy, those posts tend to do better and those products tend to do better as well. So now let's get into social media and email marketing. Now we spoke briefly about having a flow desk or a MailChimp account, as well as making sure that you have all of your, social media accounts have the same name as your business. So let's start with email marketing. What is it? Basically, email marketing is the act of it's the act of sending a commercial message to a group of people using email. So that's basically what we were talking about when I was saying how with Etsy, you can do those targeted email ads. But the email marketing that I'm talking about right now is you doing it on your own outside of Etsy. So you can use email marketing to create your own emails and send them to customers directly from you. Now, in order to do this, you'll have to get your customers' consent to use their email addresses. And honestly, I only suggest collecting emails and getting customers' consent if you plan a one-day branch off of Etsy and create your own standalone store. I think Etsy is a great platform to start your business with and to build a following. And it's a great platform if you have no following. But I also think that it's a great way to get customers. And I think you should keep both. Like if you have a standalone store, great. Also keep your Etsy because more buyers can't hurt. So yeah, I only suggest having a separate email campaign being ran if you plan to one day also have a standalone store. So as far as social media goes, let's be honest, like we're all busy and sometimes it just feels like we cannot do all of these things, like all of the things that need to be done. It's TikTok, it's Twitter, it's Pinterest, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's so much. So one of the best things about being an entrepreneur in 2021, a business owner in 2021, is that there's so many tools and resources available to you so you can automate everything, right? Everything. So if you don't have time to post on social media every day, that's okay. Block out time at least once a month to upload your post, or it doesn't have to be your post, your video, whatever, for the month. So how do you do this? I use Later. There's other platforms such as Hootsuite and Planoly where you can go ahead and upload all of your content for the week or the month and schedule it out. That way you're not spending your time on social media all the time. But like I said, I use Later. I love Later. I'm able to publish to Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter. I don't use Twitter, but I could. Directly from my Later account. I have the app on my iPad and my phone, and I'm also able to use it on a desktop or my laptop. So I love it. And also, speaking of Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, you can also run ads on those things. However, I don't recommend running ads on any of those when you first start your Etsy store. I recommend sticking with the in-house ads first, so that way you can see what products are even doing well before you spend money advertising products that just might not be a bestseller or a hit. Okay. So, and just to reiterate, you guys, please make sure all of your social media platforms are cohesive with your Etsy store or with your business. You don't want to go on your Instagram and it has nothing to do with what your Etsy shop sells. Okay. So I want to talk about customer retention, but before we get into that, let's talk about products again for a moment. More so product packaging, because you already know what you can and can't sell. But packaging and customer retention kind of go hand in hand, right? And here's why. You want your packaging to be beautiful. Now, I'll be honest with you. I have read time and time again that people don't care how things show up as long as they show up. But in my experience, if something is packaged beautifully, the buyer is more likely to give you a great review. And they're also more likely to, reach out to you and to come back, even if they weren't thrilled with the product. So in 2017, when I first started selling wigs on Etsy, I packaged them up so pretty, like so beautiful, right? And this lady sent me a message or an email, and she's like, in person, when I took the wig out the box, I really didn't like it that much. She's like, but I loved how it was delivered. It's like it looked like it was just packaged with so much love and attention. And so I played around with the wig, I put it on, I framed it to my face, and I ended up loving it. But had I not received such beautiful packaging, I wouldn't have thought twice about wearing a wig. Bottom line, presentation matters. Y'all, I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. Perception is everything, especially when it comes to marketing and selling a business and selling a brand. If that customer would have gotten a wig that she didn't like and the box was crappy and there was no thank you card, no thank you note, she would have been most likely to leave a negative review, or try to get a return or be a difficult customer. But instead, she just let me know, like, hey, you know what? When I first got it, I was like, ew. But the packaging was pretty. I said, let me put it on. Let me give it a try. I love it. So when you provide your customers with nice packaging, you're providing them with an experience, and it makes your business more memorable and stand out. I also recommend putting an invoice in your package, a little gift if you can, and a thank you card with an incentive to come back. So now let's go on to client retention, which, like I said, those things also help with retaining the clients that you are. I keep saying clients, retaining the customers that you already have. So the top 2 ways to keep your customers coming back is 1, to provide excellent customer service, and 2, the product should be exactly as described. Okay, let's just do a repeat. Excellent customer service, and the product should be exactly as described. The bottom line is, y'all, sometimes Etsy customers can be a lot. They are like very difficult to deal with sometimes, but sometimes you have to suck it up and the customer's always right, even when they're not, right? So one of the ways that you can provide excellent customer service is to let them know what to expect ahead of time. So they can't say, oh, I didn't know it was going to take this long to come. If you are specific and clear and say shipping takes 2 weeks, which is 14 days, please do not expect your item until after 14 days. But if you're sitting here saying 2 to 3 business days and it takes 15, that's a you problem, not a them problem. You see what I mean? So there's a delay. Let them know. If I'm running behind or if my assistant is running behind, I let them know. I'm like, hey, listen, I appreciate you for making your purchase. It's going to be a few days late being shipped out, blah, blah, blah. Like, just let people know. One of the top things I think, in my opinion, is let them know before they got to let you know. Like, if they got to let you know it's a problem with your store, it's late. It's too late. Let them know ahead of time and let them be in a position where they're feeling like you care about them and you care about the money that they invested into your business. Also, as far as making your item be exactly as described, if you sell something that's black and white, don't say black, white, but goes great with pink. Leave pink out of it because honestly, some shoppers are very, very simple. And so when they read it, they read black, pink, and white. They didn't read goes great with pink. So when it comes to them, they're like, I thought it said something about having pink on here. And you're like, no, boo, I said it goes great with pink. And now they're upset because they thought it was pink, even though they didn't read. But be very specific. Say, this item is black and white. Then you can go a little bit below and say, great pairs or suggestion with this item. And then say pink, red, blue, whatever. But be as specific as possible and, let them know upfront what to expect. Another thing that I think is really good to keep customers coming back are incentives. Basically, the top incentive you can give is a discount. Just let them know, like, hey, next time you come, you can get this much off. Or since you're such a consistent shopper, like I mentioned earlier, you can always get this percentage off. Or if you want to buy in bulk, depending on what you sell, I can work with you and give you this amount off. So that's another great way to keep your clients coming back. So reviews, and this is like coming to an end. We're almost done. Reviews are a big deal, not just on Etsy, but everywhere. Like, think about it. As a shopper, you and I both know, like, we love reviews. We're reading through them. We're looking at pictures. We're seeing what other people said, what she said, what he said. Oh, she ain't like this. We're going through all that stuff. You know what I mean? And as a new seller on Etsy, you're not going to have any reviews starting out. So it's really important that you get them and that they're good. Okay. Some best practices for getting good reviews is to ask. That's it. Like, literally just ask, hey, do you mind leaving me a review? So like on my packaging slip or order slip, when I ship to customers, I say, If you've had a great experience, please leave a 5-star review and you'll receive a discount off your next purchase. If you leave a 5-star review with a picture, you'll receive an even bigger, discount off your next purchase. If you did not have a wonderful experience, please email me directly and let me know how I can make this better for you next time. So get the review just by asking, okay? Something that's new to Etsy right now is the Etsy Star Seller program. To be a star seller, your target message rate needs to be at 95%. Your 5-star rating needs to be at 95%. And your shipping needs to be at 95%. So currently my shipping is like at 96%. My 5-star rating is at 95, but my message response is like 80 something. I'm not very quick with responding to messages, but it is what it is. A common question that I get a lot is, do you need a business license to sell on Etsy? So Etsy doesn't require that, but they just require that you follow any laws that apply to you for where you live. I suggest getting your EIN number, which you can get for free off irs.gov. And I also suggest opening a business banking account or checking account after you've made your first $10,000 in sales. And then also creating a QuickBooks account. So that way you're handling all your taxes properly. Lastly, I just like to throw in some honorable mentions. Okay. So make sure you're adding item attributes. Whenever I do Etsy audits, I see that people leave attributes blank. Don't do that. So like, let's say you sell t-shirts. There's a whole section on Etsy that wants to know, what are the attributes to these t-shirts? What does that mean? Is it a crew neck? Is it short sleeve? Is it a crop top? Is it loose? Is it baggy? Is it husky? Is it, all these different things, and people leave it blank. So make sure you're filling in your item attributes. The next honorable mention is your description. I know I mentioned earlier to really make it juicy, but I just want to say it one more time. Really make it juicy because people actually read those. Also, when you're using Marmalade, make sure that you're also using keywords that don't have such a high volume, because keep in mind, if a keyword is a low volume search, you might get a higher conversion rate, because even though it's only 300 people searching this, you might have a greater chance at getting a good amount of those 300 people if you're one of the only stores that sells it, right? So make sure your processing times are accurate. Like, don't say it takes 2 weeks if it really takes 5 days, because some customers might read that and be like, oh, 2 weeks, it's not for me. And you're like, no, I can get it to you in 5 days, but that's not what you said. So be accurate. Also, I recommend upping your prices and offering free shipping across the board, or upping your prices and offering free shipping over $35. The last 3 things I would recommend are to update your shop announcement bi-weekly if you can. If you can't, at least monthly. To refresh your listings at least once every 30 days. What this will do is make it seem like you're adding new products even though you're not. And the last thing is just to actually add new products. When you're adding new product to your store, I say weekly, but when you're adding new product to your store, it lets Etsy know that you're still using their platform. You're still pushing out, because when you make money, they make money, and they're going to push you out into their algorithm. And also when you upload new products, it lets all of your customers know that this store has new items available. So I hope this was so helpful. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you for signing up. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or DM me. If you are in my text group, feel free to text me. I just appreciate you guys, and I'm so happy to be here. That's all. So bye, you guys, and thank you.